All right, guys, it is that time of the week. Time for our weekly NFL predictions for that upcoming week. This week, we are moving on to week 9, which means we are officially in the second half of the season, which is pretty hard to believe. But, guys, most of you know the drill by this point, so we're just going to get right into it. And at the end, we will look back on how we did in week 8. So let's get into it, guys. We're going to start with the Thursday night game, as we always do. This week, Eagles and Texans. The Eagles, what a year they're having. 7-0, the only undefeated team. Clearly the best team in the NFC. They had a good trade deadline as well. They take on the lowly Texans. Look at the spread, -14 in favor of the Eagles. Oh man, I mean, the Texans are just, they're just not even going to stand a chance. I don't even know if the Eagles are going to lose a game this year. I think there's only a couple games that I think, okay, maybe they might lose that one. This is not one of them. I'm going to take the Eagles to win, obviously, and I'm going to take them to cover. This is not going to be pretty for the Texans. I would be shocked, not only if the Texans win, but if this is a close game at all, I will be shocked. So, yeah, definitely a big mismatch in our Thursday night game this week. We move on to the Sunday games. We're going to start with Chargers and Falcons. Interesting, because the Chargers aren't playing as well as a lot of people, including myself, thought they would this season. Mike Williams is going to be out for an extended period of time. Hopefully Keenan Allen is going to be healthy coming out of their bye week. Maybe they've changed things up. They go into Atlanta to face a first-place Falcons team. Did anyone think the Falcons would be in first place at the halfway point of the season? Not me, not you. Come on, let's be realistic. But the Falcons are still not favored. The Chargers are on the road. I still think the Chargers are the better team, but right now, I'm feeling the Falcons right now, so I'm going to go with a little upset. I'm going to take the Falcons to win, and that obviously means they'll cover because they are not the favorites. And I don't know, the Falcons, they're playing well. I don't know how they won that game against the Panthers, but they did. They're 4-4, and I'm just going to keep riding them. I like it. You got to have some upsets every week. That's one of them. We move on to the Dolphins and Bears. The Dolphins have not lost a single game with Tua at the starting QB this year. In a game in which he has started and finished, they are 5-0, or they're 4-0, I think. 4-0, well, 5-0, whatever. They haven't lost with Tua from start to finish. They go into Chicago. This Dolphins offense is lethal. I think Jalen Waddle and, of course, Tyreek Hill have been the most lethal 1-2 punch. Clearly the best receiver duo this year, and it's not even close. They play a Bears team that is getting better. I have to credit them. Credit Justin Fields, because this offense, the last few weeks, they've been continuing to improve. This is not a laughable organization or a laughable team or a laughable offense. So I think they can hang with the Dolphins, but I still think the Dolphins are a better team, and I don't think the Bears defense can contain what the Dolphins are doing on offense right now. Tyreek Hill is almost at 1,000 yards receiving through 8 games. He's basically 200 yards ahead of everyone else. That guy is unstoppable. I didn't think he'd be having his best year as an NFL receiver this year on the Dolphins. I didn't think he'd be statistically better with Tua than Patrick Mahomes, but Tua has made that leap. So I will take the Dolphins to win and cover in Soldier Field. Never an easy place to play, but I'll still take them to win and cover. Then we have the Panthers and Bengals. I cannot believe the Panthers did not win that game against the Falcons. An incredible throw to DJ Moore from PJ Walker, an incredible touchdown in the last moments. We think the Panthers with the PAT are going to win in surprising, incredible fashion, but DJ Moore gets flagged for excessive celebration. They move the PAT back to the 48-yard line, or 48 yards away. Eddie Pinheiro misses that. It goes to overtime. Then he misses a 33-yarder to win. Just a disastrous loss that would have put the Panthers in first place. That was their best shot, and I think they blew it. The Bengals, on the other hand, they surprisingly got destroyed by the Browns on Monday Night Football. I still think, despite not having Jamar Chase, I still think the Bengals, deservedly so, are clearly better than the Panthers. Even with the lack of, or not having their number one receiver, I still think the Bengals win and cover, especially at home. They're going to bounce back. They'll be fine. I think they need to get acquainted to not having Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and them. They're not threatened by the Panthers. I don't think so. They'll be just fine. We move on to the Packers and Lions, a division rivalry that has gone back so long. Two classic franchises, but both teams are not playing well this year. The Lions 1-6 traded TJ Hawkinson. I still don't understand it. The Packers 3-5. I don't understand why they didn't do anything at the deadline. I really don't get it. This is a make or break game for the Packers, in my opinion. If they don't win this game, they have no shot at making the playoffs, I think. I think it's over. They can call off the Dogs if they don't win. That's just my opinion. But Aaron Rodgers, he owns the Lions. So I think this is a spot that their offense won't struggle. This is a much easier matchup, obviously, than last week against the Bills or, most other matchups. The Lions might have the worst defense. So it's a good bounce back spot for the Packers. I think they will win and cover just because the Lions are way worse than the Packers right now, especially defensively. So it's a good bounce back spot in basically, I think, a must-win scenario for the Packers. We move on to the Colts and Patriots. The Patriots, and neither of these teams are above 500, but in Foxborough, New England, still a good defense. They're very unpredictable. Some weeks they play well, some weeks they don't. They just beat the Jets, but then they lost to the Bears at home. They're a confusing team, hard to predict, hard to decipher, kind of like this entire season, but regardless, Sam Ehlinger for the Colts could not even beat the Commanders at home. Bill Belichick, his track record against young QBs, it's not going to be easy to go into Foxborough and win for a young QB. So I will take the Pats to win and cover the -5.5 just because of their defense and at home against an inexperienced quarterback. I like them in that spot. Then we have the Bills and Jets. This spread is very much in favor of the Bills. I wonder what it would have been like if the Jets beat the Pats last week, but are the Jets coming back down to earth? That remains to be seen. Zach Wilson, still not that good. Josh Allen and company, the Bills, clearly I think the best team in the AFC, probably the whole league. The Eagles fans might have something to say about that, but regardless, I think the Bills win this game in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and cover because the Jets, I know their defense is good, but they're not at that Josh Allen Bills offense containment level. I don't think they can contain them. Bills are clearly better, and I think the Jets might have been a little exposed last week and might be due for some regression, or at least against a really good defense and a really good offense. It's going to be tough sledding for them, so we'll see, but I think the Bills win pretty comfortably there. Then we have the Vikings and Commanders. The Vikings, 6-1, running away with the NFC North. The Commanders, they're holding their own, 4-4, but in that division, yeah, it's just a tough year for them. Many other years, they might have been in first place with a 500 record in the NFC East, but not this year. This is a good revenge game, maybe for Kirk Cousins, and I think the Vikings are going to win and cover -3.5. I'm not necessarily sure if the Vikings are a Super Bowl contender for sure. I'm not all in on them, but I still think they're a very good team, obviously. I think they'll win this division. So, and I think they're still clearly better than the Commanders. So for that reason, I think they will win and cover. Although Taylor Heineke finds a way to win games, I'll tell you what. That was a great drive, great comeback against the Colts. Then we have the Raiders and the Jags. Dude, the Jags, I swear, being a Jags fan is going to take a few years off my life because they are way better than their record indicates. All 6 of their losses have been one-possession games. They just can't win close games. They kill themselves. They beat themselves with these turnovers in the red zone. Idiotic things like penalties, can't convert 4th and 1s. It's aggravating. But regardless, the Raiders have been pretty aggravating too. Just ask the Raiders fans. I pick the Jags every week, and I'm going to pick them again because they're at home, and I just think they're due for a win. They've lost 5 in a row, and they have to just clean up these mistakes, and they're pretty good. They're not that bad, I swear. Of course, the Raiders, they need to win, and they have higher expectations, so they definitely can. But obviously, I'm going to be biased because what's a sports video without some bias and rooting for your own team? So I always pick the Jags, almost always. And I think I have every time this year, except for when they played the Chargers, I think. So, and I was wrong about that. So anyway, Cardinals and Seahawks. How about the Seattle Seahawks? 5-3, winning the NFC West. They play the Cardinals, a team that they have owned historically. But you know what? I think the Cardinals, I don't know how legit the Seahawks are. They might be, but I don't know. I have no idea. I think going into Arizona, maybe they're due for a loss. Maybe. I think they won 4 in a row. I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win and cover at home just because I think the Cardinals are due for a win against the Seahawks, and they play better at home. Yeah, I know Call of Duty came out, so Kyler Murray, clearly he's going to regress a little bit, but still, I think they find a way. I do, but I honestly, I don't, because the Seahawks could definitely win that game. That one can go either way. Speaking of games that can go either way, Rams and Bucks, two teams that are clearly disappointing right now, two down bad teams that could really, really use a win. So who do I go with here? It's in Tampa Bay. They're favored -3. The Bucks are. I'm gonna go with the Rams. Why? Well, I don't know. I really don't. That's really a toss-up. I'm from California. That's it. All right, Rams win and cover. Why not? I don't like Tom Brady. I don't know. I have no explanation. I don't know. Next, Chiefs and Titans. Chiefs -12.5 at home against the Titans. The question is, does Malik Willis get the start or does Ryan Tannehill get the start? In this spot, I think a veteran QB like Tannehill is the better option if they're both healthy. I don't think Malik Willis proved that he's necessarily ready to take over Ryan Tannehill's job. But still, the Chiefs are coming off a bye week. They have Kadarius Toney now. They're so tough to beat in KC. So who wins the game? I think the Chiefs obviously win, and I'll take them to cover. I know the Titans are playing really well. They've won 4 in a row. I think 5 in a row, actually. I think they're 5-2. They're good, but the Chiefs usually beat them. And I don't think they're at the Chiefs level. I think the Titans have taken advantage of a bad division. Not saying they're not good. I'm not saying Derrick Henry's not the best running back in football, maybe, after another monstrous performance. I don't think they can keep up. The Titans are a run-first team, obviously. This is not a run-first environment. I just don't think they can keep up with the Chiefs that are even better than they were last week or 2 weeks ago before they got Kadarius Toney. They're rested. Yeah, it's an even better team now. Then we conclude with Monday Night Football, of course, between the Ravens and the Saints. Saints getting a surprising shutout beatdown victory over the Raiders. That's a legitimate defense, credit to them, but it's going to be tough to contain the Ravens, who lead the division coming in on the road. It is a close spread, understandably, because New Orleans is a very tough place to play. But I think the Ravens are starting to find their groove, and I think the Ravens are clearly the better team than the Saints, even though the Saints, they can hold their own. They're in a lot of close games usually. But I will take the Ravens to win and cover. I just think the Ravens are the better team, and I think a lot of times that can be all the logic you need to pick a team to win. Just go with the better team. Why not? So guys, those are my Week 9 predictions for this upcoming week. And as for last week, Week 8, guys, I'm in a slump. I went 8-7 in Week 8, and that brings our overall record to 70-53. Not as good as I anticipated, but I tell you what, in my recent memory as an NFL fan, I think this might be one of the most unpredictable and wild years. I don't remember so many unexpected results, but you gotta love it for just the fandom and parody part of it and the surprising part of it. But for my record, yeah, it's not boding well. We're due for a good week. I got a feeling about this week. Week 9, we're going to do much better. That's just my opinion. Guys, definitely, as always, make sure to comment your predictions for this upcoming week. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And you like football. Why not? We make football videos, so maybe it's not the worst idea. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all, hopefully, in the next one.